Here in Antioch, and we are going to do a painting of the new gallery, the art gallery here in Antioch. And let me just show you real quickly what that gallery looks like. Let's hold that. Let me do this one more time. There we go. And so, see, there's the gallery. This is Antioch, Illinois, and we are going to be doing this painting right here. And it's of the gallery itself, and I may have to move this once in a while because the sun is, I'm being blocked by the sun of this tree, or blocked by the tree, which is good. Give me some shade. And so we will get started with our light areas like we always do. And so should have brought an umbrella because you really shouldn't have light on your palette and not or on your canvas. But and I'm actually today I'm using the the Legion Stonehenge Aqua board panel, the aluminum panel, which I drew up, and I drew it with pencil. And so let's get going with. I'm gonna start with the lights, and we're gonna start out with. Let me just put this down a little bit. And we're gonna start out with some of the blues in the sky. So let's put a little bit of blue in the sky. And sorry you can't see it all while I'm painting it sideways. So I'm just going to put this little bit of blue in the sky. Through the trees, they're going to be darker. Just going to paint my lights real quickly. And what a beautiful day it is today. Nice and crisp. A nice crisp sun. Nice and cool. Not too hot yet. No wind really. Just a little bit, but not too much. Hopefully the sun doesn't come a little bit farther on my canvas here. That's one thing you have to really watch out for, is when you're painting outside that you get it in the shadow. Don't paint with the sun on your palette or on your canvas or paper or whatever you're working on. I'm going to put in some of the lights again, light tree branches here. You guys pulling up right here at the car, so that's no big deal. I'm just going to go in there and get some of the light greens going. And this new gallery here in Antioch is just amazing. They just moved down the street, and it's just in a bigger area, bigger space, and it's really, really nice. Really beautiful little gallery they have here. So I'm putting in the lights right now. So the lights always go in first.
Nope.
Hey. So even the lights in the background, I notice when you're doing a scene like this where there's a lot in the background way back there behind the trees, you don't really want to put them in to like it is in real life here, because then it would take away from the foreground, right? I mean, there's all this foreground stuff here. And I mean, there's a gas station back there and all that kind of stuff back there. You just want to kind of play that down. You don't want to really actually put that in there. You can gesture at it, but I wouldn't put anything big in there. I would just get in there and just make it light. My scene is basically the background is light, and then all this stuff is light, and then this building here is in my dark area. That's gonna be. Right now there's a little bit of flickering shadow on there, but it'll be my dark. This will be my dark. My foreground will be dark. The shadow was there before, a little bit more than it is now. You can tell, see it's flickering light right now on the streets and stuff, but it was basically full shadow at the front here when I first started this, so that's what I go with. I go with whatever I saw before when I'm sketching it. So let's see this sign. Oh, where's that sign? Oh, that sign is a dark sign. So I'm just going to go over this again with light areas and just kind of gesturing at what's back there, not making it exactly what it is. And picking up some of the color back there. I mean, there's green trees back there, and there's actually cars driving up every 5 minutes, and you'll probably hear that. Morning, Pat. Morning, Sue. So let's just yeah. So there's a little. This is my light. The front of the buildings are my lights. So I'm gonna get a little bit of color in there. A little bit of color right away, right into that area. And so I'll just put little colors in there, light colors again. And you can bring the light colors into this other area. So if you do this, if we put the little light colors in this area, that's going to be dark later. That'll be fine. You can just do that easily. Remember, lights to dark. And even if I'm doing it now, I'm getting some shadow in there again. Darn it. There we go. I have to put it a little bit this way. Let me just turn this a second. You really can't have any light on here. If you get light on there, it's just not good. Do my street, and I'm using Jaune number 2. It's always a good color for like a beige, but kind of like a beige, like a flesh tone beige, if that's a color. And this is my light area again, so I'm just going to go through here. And there are a lot of grays and lavenders in this scene because there's a lot of grays tend to be lavender with the blues mixing with the warm. And I go through things that are dark, like my van right there is going to be dark, and so I'm always trying to get my van in the pictures. I just drove it up there so there was a car there. Otherwise, it seemed kind of empty. When I got here in the morning, nobody was here because it took me about an hour to sketch it up. Hey, Rebecca. Hey, Darcy. If you guys want to ask questions, go ahead. I actually can see my phone, which is rarely I can't because of the blurriness, but I can actually see it today. And hopefully you can hear me with all this noise. I think I'm close enough to the phone that you can hear me. So take a little orange. Again, this is my lights. Putting those lights in. I didn't take out my gouache set, but I may do that later in the video here. We'll see if I want to use gouache on top of this. This is a piece of paper, it's not a canvas. I was going to first work on canvas that was prepared, but I'm working on that aluminum panel from Legion Papers. It's the Stonehenge paper. So lights are going in really nicely. Just putting them in. You can see the gallery here. It's a lot of greens, really bright greens, but then look at how dark the greens are too. So we're just gonna get those light greens in there first. Always put the light greens in first. Sun's reflecting off my brush here. And these, I forgot what they call those flowers, but whatever they are, they're the white flowers. I may put them in with white paint and just do the dark greens on top of that, and then put the white on top of that. And it's a little flecks of green here, little flecks. Because this is going to be part of my dark, and so these are just a little bit of the light shining through there a little bit. There's a lot to draw in here. When I first started this, man, I was like thinking, am I going to be able to do this all in 1 hour? Well, hopefully we can. We'll see how this works. It's amazing how much it changes too. I was here about an hour before this, painting this, and the changing that happens between an hour and now is just really incredible. So you have to really kind of pick a time and look at your value study. I did a little value study, and so you have to look at that and just stick with that. You can't shift it to where to keep on chasing the sun. Like these shadows are really, really dark, and before they were not as dark. So basically my car was dark, but now my car is reflected in it. This really light area, so church bells ringing over there. Seems like it's a little late. Hey, Marcia. All right, so I think I've got all my lights. Let's go into my mediums now, my large mediums, and that's going to be, let me see what that's going to be. Yeah, I'm going to start to get this whole big area right here. And that is like, it's a white painted wall, but when you get it painted white, you can use any color you want for the shadows. That's one thing nice about, there's a little purple here. So let's just go over this, and the window should be the blue of the sky. So I'll put a little bit of blue in the sky there. That's going to be the window. And then we're just going to go in here and grab some colors and make them darker. It's going to be reflected color. I know it's dripping down because I'm working right side. I'm working up and down here with my panel. Oh, I got to keep on thinking. Still the sun's hitting it. I'm going to gray that down a little bit. So purple you gray down with what? Yellows. Yellows you can gray down your purple. Get it more gray. Take it down here. I know there's these little shadows coming across here, so I'm going to put them, and that's going to the window, because the window is actually going to be really dark. Also, the window up here will also be dark, and that'll indicate the window. These two windows up here are dark. The window up here is dark. I can just go right into this. I'm not sure why I went around that. Just go right into that window. Because then if you pick up any of that color of the blue, maybe from the outer, what's reflecting, you can put that right in there. It's really good to go paint outside once in a while. You really see colors so much better than in photographs. You really get to see, and you can study against other things, what the colors really represent, and how the greens are not as green as I thought in the photo. And looking at it in nature, I must say it's just so much different. And you just kind of memorize that so that you know when you are watching or outside and you're inside, in the studio, kind of remember what you had seen outside so that you can bring it to those colors. A couple Harleys just passed by. Yeah, I'm sure you heard that. Now let's get our whole foreground in here too. Let's get the foreground. It was in shadow, and again, the same kind of colors for the shadow. I'm gonna go with a violet and a little bit of yellows. And basically, it's gonna make that whole foreground in shadow. It's more dappled right now, but I'm gonna take it from what I had seen before. Because basically I have a dark U shape around these people that are going to be walking. I just when people start walking that way, I just kind of memorized that and thought, okay, I'm going to put them in there. It's just going to be a dark area, and then there can be a shadow within a shadow too. What you can do is the shadow is a little bit darker, like right here by this tree, because this tree will have the shadows from the leaves and stuff up here, just kind of dappled. But then right there by the tree, where the tree starts, that's going to be really dark. Excuse me. And the bluer, and so right there, I'm going to make a really darker shadow. A little bit more blue in that shadow, a little bit. So right here, I'm just going to make that shadow a little bit darker than the rest of this, and put some of that in here too. But that would be a little bit darker right there. There's also shadow right here. Since you got this in my color in my brush, I can do it for the van. The van is there. Motorcycles are out this morning. Lots of motorcycles out this morning. It's a beautiful, beautiful morning this morning. Unbelievable. Maryland is very, very beautiful day here. So let's just get some of these darks in here. See, I'm working my large medium just now, and this is all in shadow. It is a little bit, like I said, right now it's more dappled. You can see underneath here, right there, see underneath there. You see that it is more dappled, but I'm making it like it was more this morning. Where it's, and that way it feels more like the big areas of light and dark. So I like doing big areas of light and dark. This shadow and these trees and this, all this other stuff is gonna be even darker yet. And man, this keeps on turning. I'm gonna have to turn sideways in a second. Let me just put this up here again. Sorry about that. I have to keep on turning my palette so I don't get any sun in it. You really, like I said before, you cannot have sun on your palette, otherwise it just ruins everything. So now, way in the distance here, I'm going to get some shadows coming across from the street. Again, go through things that are going to be darker later. And my van, I can do that a little bit darker right now. Because it will be darker, but then these shadows are a middle tone. So you see I already have like my mediums, and then when I get my darks in there, I'll identify things and identify shapes. Just like if you were inside in your studio doing you have to always have a value study. Always, I don't care if you're outside, inside, wherever you are, you need to know where the values, the large lights and darks are going to be. It's just so important. Now, when you're outside, it shifts and changes, but stick with the value pattern that you started with. You cannot chase the sun and try to make things work if it's going to be like changing a lot, which it is, because I mean, it's like I said, within an hour it changed completely. I'm doing the background here now, just to kind of get some of these grays back here and make it look like there's something happening back there. And then little by little you get darker and darker, larger and smaller darks. But first you do the large mediums, large darks, and then you get smaller and smaller. This sign is in shadow. There's a lot of color in there. This sign, the art sign for the new Antioch Art Gallery. They did a beautiful job inside. It's just a beautiful gallery here in Antioch, Illinois. Come by the gallery here. It's just a really beautiful gallery they put together. It used to be down the street in a smaller area, and it was just kind of very small, but now they have enough room for classes, and so fun stuff here. All right. I guess we're going to start in the back here now. What I'm going to do is take a smaller brush and just start going from the back forward. So what I'm going to do is get this stuff back here and make that, not very vibrant, not very contrasty, because I want to keep it back there. Actually, less than the people even, because that's way too dark. That's way too contrasty. So I want to keep that really light. Here's some flowers on the pole. Just get that all kind of going way back there. And as it comes forward, you're going to get more and more contrasty, more and more color. And everything gets to be a little bit more identified as it comes forward. Here's these little lamps and stuff, and I know this is kind of detailed, but I'm working from back to front and just getting that large areas done back there. That's about as large as you're going to get back there. I'm keeping it light. I know it looks kind of dark in the camera, but it's lighter than you think, and I'm going to get darker and darker. Here's the one tree. And these trees will get much darker as they come forward. And boy, the bark on these trees, if you really look at them, it's really funny. Everybody makes things brown and stuff, but they really are a lot of green in them because they have, like, not mold, but, well, maybe it's mold on them, like green little mold on the side of the bark. Jeez. I guess it's 4th of July. Everybody's out. It's now a little bit darker and darker. There's also a lot of warmth in those trees. A little green. It's a little bit darker as I come forward. Break up here so that I can have some of it go through the trees. A lot of orange in this bark too. And now the one side of the tree is going to be a little bit darker. And then you have dappled light again here. Let's put a little bit of this color in there too. Get a little bit darker and darker. And also show a little shadow on there. One side a little bit darker. Yes, Lynn, that's where I'm at. Yeah, I'm right outside the gallery, the new gallery. Gosh, I can't believe how much this is changing. The sun is really moving fast. It's amazing how when you're at a certain angle, boy, the sun, it seems like, it's moving like really rapidly. I may be taking sideways in a second. I should do the back a little bit more before I get into that front tree. And so let's just put this like this. I will be putting dark foliage on there too later. The darker foliage. So now we'll get my car in there. So the car is very reflective, and so, but I'm still going to go with the medium first. Just put it over the medium. It's going to reflect some of the blue from the windows. There'll be blue from the sky, especially the front window here. And when you're working a medium, don't be afraid of going through things, because later on you'll be going, like, I can go right through the trees, and later on I'll make things darker in front. And then the side of my van is really bright and the light is actually white, so I'm going to keep that really light right there. So that's a middle tone. I can put a little bit of dark in there too, like the reflection. Underneath the car is really dark, so I'll put that really dark. And this is a little garbage can here. It's kind of a green. So let's see if we can get a gray green on here. And you notice how I'm doing it all big. It's a bunch of little lines going down for this garbage can, but I don't paint it like that. You just paint it with the medium and the light. And I'll put a little light here. I'll just take this out a little bit, and then this will decide to be darker. Make this a little bit darker. And there's the curve there. You got to bring things all together in one wash as much as possible as you're doing this. Hey Lyle, no problem. Don't have to worry about being late. It's all good. These little things right here, I don't like this on these little things that are holding my canvas to make the water go back up in that area. So I'll have to redo that. I'll have to re-wet this area and make this more. Actually, I can make it more dappled now too. Then we have this green. I have a very green, this pole right here, but I'm not gonna make it as green as it is. It would stand out too much. I'm just gonna put this like nice, and look at I'm using my finger on the edge of the canvas to steady my hand to go straight down. Again, a little bit darker. There's a darker side because the sun's coming from that side kind of strong. And so I'm still at my medium stage. I'm still doing things medium. I'm not in my huge darks yet. I did do a few darks in the tree here, which is fine. I just got a few to establish that. All right. Again, if you have questions, I am looking once in a while. I'm looking at my phone. I can see it right in front of me. So if you have some questions, just let me know. This a little darker. So I want to get some really dark darks in here. I want to establish like my darkest dark in one area, and I think I'm gonna do that in a second. But it's in the window in here because some of these are the darkest darks. I'll switch my brush to a flat brush now. And that is a really dark dark there. So I'm just gonna take a bunch of my darks, black and a warm black. I just add to it, and then I'm just gonna go in here and get this little beam that's up there, this little iron beam. It's really dark and there's shadow on there now, but before there wasn't, so I'm just gonna make it what I saw before. Nice dark beam. And then the window itself, I'm just gonna do dark. And if I'll start with a medium, and then I'll add things into it because there is a frame on here that's a little bit darker. And I'll try to go around the flowers, but if I don't, I'll put them in with white paint later. There's the edge of a little strip that goes right here. You can see very slightly things inside, and you can suggest them. I'm gonna go around some of these flowers, so that'll be dark.
Very nice.
Thank you. Thanks. All right, so there's a dark, but not a, more of a medium. Again, you leave your darkest darks details for later. You're just getting in there and getting the big areas. And now it's going to reflect some of the color, especially the green that's out front here. Put some of that in there. It's going to reflect a little bit, some of that color into the window. Because it acts like a mirror. So, and you, depending on what your eye is seeing, sometimes you look through the window, through the glass to see what's in the inside. And then you can look at the out part that's actually reflecting. So it's whatever your eye focuses on, basically. Now this in front also has some little darks. And this window up here will be also dark. I'm going to make it the same so that once you do one window, do the same to it, and that way it reads as a window. So I use the same darkness, but I'll leave it a little bit on top, leave that a little bit lighter, like the sun is reflecting, or you're seeing the sky, because it is higher up there, and you're seeing it more at an angle to see the sky. Same thing with these windows right here. Just going to constantly use the same color. So I'm halfway into this now, and so half hour. So another 30 minutes, and then we'll hopefully be done. We'll see. We'll see. This is there's a lot of stuff in here. And I'll get these windows. Okay, you got that. And so there's my dark. Getting darker and darker, smaller and smaller, more and more details. And I'm hoping that it looks like this part is darker than here, which this is not as much dark as it was before. So I'm gonna make that one more big wash of dark across that. I'll take violet, and I'm just gonna make this a little bit darker up there. Take my big brush. Where'd my big brush go? Here. Take my big brush and do this again. I just don't feel I have that lighting effect, because I want to get a certain lighting effect, and to do that, I need this all to be darker. I mean, I'm going to still put color in there. I can also make it look dappled, like there's light coming across it, but it just ended up being too light. It dried a little bit too light for me. My value pattern is that this is dark, comes around here in the front and then the side, and then we have some dark shadow on the leaves here too. And then making my center of this look all light, so the light is just really strong there, and that's much better. See that? Much better. And people always say that you can't go back into a wash and watercolor. You definitely can. You just have to make sure it's dry, and you re-wet it, and then you float your pigment. Like I always say, float your pigment. Now let's just find some greens, and so I'm going to make my greens with quinacridone gold. It's gold right here. Some blues. I'm going to make them dark, and then over here I'm just going to start kind of where the little lights hitting some of them on the edge, and so, but inside here it gets really dark, and that's a really dark blue, and so you better tone that down with a little bit of orange. I like a little orange and green. There's a lot of orange and green. If you look outside in nature, it's just filled with yellow and orange. So I'm just going to go in here and get some of these dark. Then there's a bunch of little really dark in here. There's actually a chair right there, which it's too much in the corner. I'm not going to even put that in. I had it drawn in, but it's just too much of that over there. Now let's get into a little bit brighter green. So I'm going to add a little bit of blue to that. A little bit more yellow. A little leaf green in here. So I'm going to go in here and get all these like a little bit brighter greens. I'm not sure I quite understand the popularity of a loud motorcycle. I always thought if I got a motorcycle, I would like it really quiet when I'm driving through the countryside. Sure you heard that again. There's many Harleys coming by here. So that's your choice to paint the garbage can. Question is whether you need to represent every item by the new gallery. The location can be identified, right? Nah, you just have to put the sign, and most people would know. But the garbage can, I think, blocks a couple things, and it is not a bad looking garbage can. If it was an ugly garbage can, then I wouldn't put it in. But it's not that bad a looking one, so we can put it in. The sign saying art gallery, that'll be what identifies it more than anything. And so here we have some ground cover, and that's a little bit brown, like burnt sienna type color down here. I'm just gonna kind of wash that, and so this is kind of out of focus here a little bit. And again, I will put those flowers in, and gosh, what are they called again? I forget. Those big round white ones. But yeah, I'm not very good at naming my flowers. But I'm gonna put them in later with white paint. I could have put my masking fluid down there, but I'm really not into the masking fluid very much lately. And I'm just gonna. And you can just put like big areas like this later on. You can also, I love using the gouache to put in little leaves and stuff because I make them thick. I make them really thick with paint, like the gouache paint, like oil actually. And I find that to look really cool when it comes to doing that with watercolor, transparent watercolor. I know a lot of people, the traditionalists would never do that, but I find I really like that look. And I was telling my class this week, I'm kind of trying to change my look a little bit so that maybe I do use some of that in my work, making my work look a little bit different. I always feel that's what I kind of want to do anyways, is kind of come a different look than the average, everything that you see. All right, I have to switch it again. Let me just move this a little bit. Sorry. Again, my light keeps on shifting and it keeps on getting on my canvas here, so I just have to move around. Let's use our small round brush now, and again I'm going to work in the background and get that stuff again. We've gotten pretty big with the big stuff here, so let's get that done. So that's a little too dark, but I'll just wipe it off here. Let's get the people in there right now. I know it's kind of small, but they're back there, and I want to get this kind of area done. And we're basically at that stage anyways to get the darks in there, some detailed darks. So I'll just get some details in here, and that way I can also establish my darkest dark, which would be on them, right? Because they are the center of interest. So let's give her a warm top, but still dark. I still want to make it really dark, and she's got there's a dog right here. I just put a little dog there. Give her some jeans on there. I know this is very detailed, but I'm at that stage, and you can put them in at any stage really, but everything behind it is done. There's a sign over here, an orange sign for the bike shop down there, the Schwinn bike shop. Really nice thing about this location that the new gallery is at is that it's right next to this small little park, little walkway. That's really kind of nice here. Little planter back there. You want to get in there? The planter. Thanks. So little details. I mean, that's your center of interest right here. So you want to have that look like the best part. Give it a little shadow there real quick. There's a little planter back here too. All right, now I'm gonna keep on working this way. Now I'll get the darks going in here in my car. So the window, I'll just put the window in here. I like putting cars into scenes only because it makes it look real, and I like the fact that they're very recognizable. I mean, there's nothing that's the shape of a car, right? And so you can really put it in there very simply by just getting the shape. You don't have to make it perfect, but you know, the shape of a car is very distinctive. So, and it helps out your painting to look more realistic, like it's part of the scene. Especially a city scene like this. Unbelievable. It's such a loud noise. I can't believe that. Am I driving it? Do you hear that in your ears? I mean, that's got to be loud. All right, by making this dark, then it makes these things come forward too. So I'm just going to negative paint my outer edge here. All right, so there's like a gesture of the car. At the same time, you can go right into this tree and make that really nice and a little more detail in the tree. The tree on the edge is really dark, and so you can put that in there right away. The windshield has reflections. Details are just what it states it is. Details shows things and what they are. So, and you can do it in a very simplified way, like a grill, just a couple lines here at the under part of the car. You don't have to be that detailed, but simplify your details. Now this garbage can, I might as well put that it has little light dark lines in it. So when you negative paint stuff, it really makes it come forward and go back and really identifies shapes. Like the inside of the tire here, just you don't have to do the tires, you just do the inside shape of dark. And then underneath the car is dark, and so just figure those two things will look good enough. Thanks, Mark. Just reading your questions. So again, here's the look of it. You can see there's more dappled light than I have, but again, in the morning, this morning it was not as dappled. And I mean, I could put it in there, but I don't want. We'll see. Right now, I got to put some more darks into the trees themselves, and so I got to get my dark green leaves up here. So Crenecum gold, my blues, and I'm gonna the trees that are looking underneath. That's where you get the darks, and so I'm gonna start back here. And there's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of orange in there. If you really look, there's a lot of orange in the green. and actually it goes around this area, so it's kind of like, let me try this brush right here. I was going to try this brush today and see what you guys think. So this brush is a just a bristle brush that you get from like Menards, and I wanted to see if I can get like a look of the foliage by just tapping on it. And getting more of a like a texture look of leaves. It does it okay, but it's almost too much texture. Let me see. So I'm going around this little overhang here. This is part of a little knocks out. Hey, thank you. So see, by doing the negative painting back here, I'm getting this to look like the knockout here coming out of the, it's like a little dormer type of thing coming out of the building. And so at the same time I'm getting the leaves, I'm also making the shape of that. So that's called negative painting. Now a little bit more green, a little bit darker green, not so much orange in some spots. It just shifts from really dark green to really light green, and you see a lot through it, and so dappled is good. I think the other brush was just a little bit too much texture. Let's do a little bit more though. Let's try again. I think for back there it's too fine. Maybe up here we can do some of that up here too. Take some leaf green. I guess it's how wet you have and how much pigment you have on there. I want that dappled light in certain ways, but I do want it also there's a lot of leaves out there, and so I'm trying to direct the light right into the middle. I'm trying to direct the light. And look at, look at this and look at the background. Look at the back here. It almost looks like it goes to the tree. So it must be getting the color right, because it matches right to the background, right? And everyone don't see it. That's very interesting. Oh yeah, you're seeing that, Marilyn? I just saw that myself. It's like, wow, it's pretty, it matches the background. So that looks like the tree's going behind my painting. So I must be using the right color then, I guess. And again, like I was saying before, get outside and look at the colors, and don't even have to do a painting. Sometimes just go do parts of parts of a scene, like just go out and do leaves and just do things, and just to get noticing what's out there, the colors. And it's amazing in nature, all the things that are happening and how the light reflects on things, and getting the shadows going across these trees and such. So we're 48 minutes in, so not too much longer, but we're getting close. And so this tree has a lot of little branches going to it too. Oh no, that's a green that's not even close to real. That was not good. That was not a good green. You can really tell bad greens because they really stick out like a sore thumb. And those greens, they're mild. They're not that dark, and they're not that vibrant. The real greens. Get a couple more branches in here coming up through there. You could spend hours and hours and hours, really. I mean, to me, it's so relaxing being outside and just doing this too. It's just relaxing. People come by, look at it. These are the background trees, so I'm making them a little bit bluer and a little bit grayer back here and very light. But you need them back there just so that you have a little space inside there. And I mean, it's nothing but leaves back there. Now we'll get some more of our dark details again. We're getting close to the end here, so we better start getting some of these details going. Things like the little round swirly here that holds the sign up, little bracket. And don't be worried that it's a little bit off, and you don't have to make everything perfect. Like, it doesn't have to be so photographic and so clean. I kind of like it to be not so clean. I like a little bit of little looseness to it. You know, little details. They're fun. Details are the fun part. It starts making things look like what they are. And now we're going to make the darks in the shadow of the building, like inside the window. We're going to go in there now and get some of those really darks. Let's see if I can push this back. Oh, see how the light just hits it so much. See if I can get closer there. So I'm just gonna get some really darks in here. And I can use the medium in here to make it look like whatever's happening inside there. Like if there's some things happening inside, that's where you negative paint around, like some of those pictures. My camera a little bit here. Sorry, it's in my way now at the moment. There we go. Hey Pumpkin the hamster, oh I'm back. The improvement is amazing. Please read my comments if that's okay with you. Yeah, definitely. Is there other ones before? Notice how close the color matches. Out loud. Oh, I'm back. There you go. I read them. And so now we're going to go over here. And see how I'm putting some of the inside. You want to put a little bit of what's inside there and a little bit of what's reflecting. A little bit of both. Put a little bit of color in there if you'd like. Make it look like you're seeing inside to the gallery. At the same time, I gotta get these flowers, and so I'm negative painting around these flowers. And there's a nice lamp right there. And we got, 5 minutes left? We're getting pretty close here. It looks pretty good. So there's a lamp right here, a really dark lamp. And all this is like the time now. You get all these little details. And like I said, you can spend hours and hours and just making it look really photorealistic also. I always go from small things or large things to small, and you just keep on going. So there's a big lamp right there. There's a little potted plant right here, a little pot. I think that's, and then we can just put a little bit of detail down here for the plants. And like I said, I'm gonna use a little bit of white for some of these flowers, and so I'm just gonna use basically white. I'm just gonna go and dip into white. I'm just gonna put in some of the plants in white. It's not, it's a neat look, I think. And then we're gonna have a bunch of, let's get some red plants in here too. I'm just gonna say that there's some geraniums in these things. And maybe some over here, just to say that there are, even though they're not. I want to make the sign a little bit nicer here, and then outline the sign a little bit. Give the sign a little palette up here, a little art palette. And later on I can make that a little bit better with the, again, sign in there again. Put some color on the top. A little bit of blue. A little bit. This window it's been important to make the window look nice because basically this whole area right here is your center of interest. So I really work on making it look nice, and detailed because it is your center of interest. And the lines in the street, how important they are. I must say, when you get to a certain point, put the lines in, like the little cracks in the sidewalk, not the cracks, but the lines in the sidewalk. It's really important to get those in there. So use your rigger brush, get your rigger brush out, and then just go in there. Hey. See, the little lines just really make the perspective, and also shows. You don't have to make them really detailed, but just enough to show that it gives the perspective and makes the street flat. It makes it look like it's falling, it's downwards. And if you need to use a ruler, by all means, go ahead. That's fine. There's no problem using a ruler on things. Hey, Carol. We have the owner here of the gallery, of the... What's that? It's a not-for-profit. Carol, this here's Carol. Say hello, Carol. You're online. So Carol is the owner of the gallery. Not the owner, but it's a not-for-profit. It's called the Antioch
Fine Arts Foundation.
Antioch Fine Art Foundation.
We've just been to this spot now. This is our second month, full month.
Yeah, I told them that you moved from down the road, and this is the second month, and it's just a gorgeous gallery. You got to go down there and see it. Come to Antioch someday. Come and see it.
Our new show that's going up and people are entering today and tomorrow is Art of the Land, our art open spaces and parks.
Open Spaces and Parks is a new show coming up.
And we just finishing a wonderful show with collaging and photography.
Collaging and photography was just what they had. And when is it open? usually?
On Sunday it's 12 to 4.
Sunday it's 12 to 4.
We're open Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
With
So,
classes, workshops.
and so, guys, I think that's about it. 1 hour.
Take a picture.
1 hour. Hold on. Let me go one more thing here.
Oh my goodness. Can you put that in the gallery today?
Sure, we can put it together. Oh, I forgot one more couple of them. I know it's we got an hour. Let me just do a couple things here. We gotta get a couple of branches in here. We got a couple of branches going there that I drew in before. All right, guys, I think that's it. Looks great. Hey, Lyle, Mark. Hey, thanks, Marilyn. Thanks for watching. All 25 of you. So thanks a lot, and we'll see you soon. See you on Thursday for our paint along. And so let me show you close up. Take this off of here. So there's the image, and that's about all I'm going to do. And again, there's the scene. There's the scene. Yes, like I said, it's more dappled, but this morning it wasn't as dappled. But we're gonna probably do a little bit more on it, and then we're gonna be done. All right. Thanks a lot, guys. Talk to you later.
Sorry to interrupt your last.
No, that was bad.